Today I'm going to show you the basic steps for HID installation in your vehicle. Let's get started.
Now, the first thing you need to do is identify how difficult it is to remove your bulbs. In my case, in my car, they're pretty easy to remove. They're accessible by hand. On some vehicles, you might have to remove the headlight in order to be able to change the bulbs. In the case of this Lancer, it's much easier. This is the bulb we're going to be changing. Alright. Just basic twist and remove. On this side I can show you much better. These bulbs have a small clip. To be able to get them out, you have to press this clip to release the lock mechanism in order to be able to remove them. Okay? It's pretty simple. Just got to know that. You can't just yank them out or you're going to break them. You can break your plug or your bulb. And the first thing to go is usually the plug. Alright guys, so these are the basic HID components. Here I have these are the fog light bulbs. These are going to be for the low lamps. These are the ballasts that accompany them. This is how it's connected to the ballast. You have one end that goes directly to the ballast, and two smaller leads that provide power to the actual bulb. Now this end that goes into the ballast is going to plug into the car harness, which is going to provide power, and you're going to tell it when to turn on and when to turn off. Alright guys, so the basic connections are very simple. You have the signal input to the ballast, and then you have the power output that goes to the bulbs from the ballast. Okay, basically you connect this little plug here, which is a female connector, will connect directly into the car's harness. That in turn will connect to the ballast via this connector here. Alright, just basically plug that in. Okay, the next connection will be to connect directly from the ballast to the bulbs. This is a pretty foolproof design here, where you have one male and female that mate with each other perfectly. And that's the basic connections for the HID ballast and bulb. Now this connection here, if for some reason the HID won't turn on, this is the first thing you're going to check. You're going to invert this connection, which is a common mistake that happens. Okay, when your bulbs aren't lighting up, it's most probably because this is inverted. That's the first thing you're going to check. Alright, next I'm going to install the HID bulbs and all the corresponding sockets that I just removed. When you handle these bulbs, be very careful not to touch the bulb. They're very sensitive to any grease or anything that gets on it, so do not touch it under any circumstances. Okay, that's why they come in these little plastic thingies to protect them. Very careful not to touch it with your fingers, at least. Now, the best way to do this, especially if the lamp is still mounted, is to look from behind, from inside the bulb to the back. You'll be able to aim it down into the socket. Now, you may have to play with it a little bit to get it to fit just right. Now it's the same basic procedure for the low lamps. Now, you may have to find unique locations for your ballasts. That's okay. Just as long as they're not banging on anything, they're fine. These ballasts are waterproof, so it doesn't matter if they get wet or anything like that, so that's not a factor. Just make sure where you put them, they don't bang around and they don't rub against anything, or the cables aren't going to get caught and ripped out, okay? Now, some people are going to like this, but the best way to do this is with straps, because you can't always screw these in to a good place. The most comfortable and easiest way to do this is with some nice high quality straps. Find a nice sturdy location where you can hang them. See if they're hanging, they're not banging against anything. So that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Decided to remove this to see if I could get a better placement of my ballasts up high. Make sure wherever you put these, you can access the cable directly, so you can hook it up later. So I've mounted one right there, and the other to that bracket right there. You kind of have to get creative with these. You can put more than one strap if that makes you feel better. I'm also going to strap the cables to something else, just as a double insurance, okay? But you really got to mount these creatively wherever they fit and wherever they're most secure. Alright, zip ties is the way to go. However, if you want to take the whole bumper apart and screw them in, that's probably better. Me personally, I don't like to do that. Here I found a mounting point where I can use a screw from this coolant mount to secure my ballast. When you can find places like that, that's even better. You know, I don't like to drill holes in my car. That's why I prefer straps. But if you can find a place where a screw fits perfectly, go ahead. Alright, so once everything is secure, it's time to start making connections. Now, first thing you're going to want to do is make sure your bulbs are off and that they're not going to come on under any circumstances, okay? These things are high voltage and they can shock you. So this is the first thing we're going to connect. We're going to connect the ballast. Sorry, we're going to connect the ballast to the bulb first. Now that we have the ballast connected to the bulb, we're going to connect the signal and power connector from the bulb harness to the ballast harness. Okay, just like so. Positive and negative as shown. Perfect. Lastly, we're going to connect the signal cable to the factory harness. Last thing we're going to do. Alright, try to match up the polarity if possible. That will minimize any mistakes. Simple as that. Plug and play. I'm going to go ahead and do this on all 4 bulbs and we'll be right back. Alright, so now it's time to test. Now, an important thing to note, HID bulbs have a 5-minute burn-in period. So you need to, once you power them on for the first time, try to leave them on at least 5 minutes. That way they will set into their ballast, everything will be stable. That's the best way I've found to do it. I've installed many kits over the years, and this is the best way to improve the durability of your bulbs. So turn on your car and turn on the lights. If everything's working properly, leave them on for 5 minutes. As you can see, only my bottom bulbs have lit up, which means that I probably inverted some cables on the top. From the car stock plugs to the ballast input, I inverted those plugs on accident. So I'm going to go ahead and invert them like I showed you in the video, in the first part of the video, and that will fix my issue. Alright, so that was the basic installation video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was clear enough. I'm going to go ahead and put this back together now. I'm going to fast forward through it. I'm going to do some cable management as well. Basically, any loose cables, wrap them up, zip tie them together, zip tie them to some other cable or some other strong mounted point, just in case something comes loose. Tie it up in one spot and another spot as well. That's the way I do it. It's the cleanest way to do it without drilling holes or messing up your car. So that's why I use zip ties. Well guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was useful. If you like my videos, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.